What's up, y'all? It's your boy Broadway, and we back to talk about all of these damn games. It's the end of the weekend, Sunday. The Xbox Direct just rounded out. It ended not too long ago. And I went back through the state of play, looked at, just timestamps, looked at the state of play, looked at the Summer Games Fest, looked at the Xbox Direct, and I put down every single game that I'm looking forward to. And y'all, it's going to be one hell of a 2026 and a hell of a 2027, let me tell you, because there are 43 games that your boy is excited for. We're going to get right into it. We're going to save the best for last for me personally that was shown off today. At the end of the Xbox Direct, it had its own little half-hour overview, and that is Gears of War E-Day. We'll have a little personal story when we get to that moment so you can understand why it is my most anticipated behind a little survival horror game that's going to come out. All these games I'm excited for, but there are certain ones that I am especially looking forward to the most. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and start at the very top at the state of play with the Wolverine. Now, I've said this before. I like Insomniac Spider-Man 1. I think Miles Morales is pretty cool too. Spider-Man 2 is the worst of the bunch. And yeah, that's pretty much where that leaves me. But when you give me a Wolverine game that kind of gives me over the shoulder, close and personal, cinematic God of War style combat and story, well, you've got me hooked. And so I'm going to buy Wolverine. That's as simple as that. And now the next thing, we're going to stick right in with Marvel here. That's going to be Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. They went ahead and released their Villains trailer, and I think it was the Knights of Doom. So we got Doctor Doom. We already knew he was in there. Then we were showing Magneto. He looks like classic Magneto, of course. Something that completely shocked me, and I think he looks really weird. I didn't know what I was expecting from his gameplay, but Green Goblin is in the fucking game. I don't know how often Goblin is in fighting games or video games in general, but that was pretty cool to see. And we also got Carnage, so that's sick. And he sounds evil as fuck. He sounds maniacal. I like the laugh. I'm in it. I love fighting games, man. Never really played MVC, so this will really be my first Marvel fighting game that I'll be diving into, and I hope it's a really fun and good one. And the next game we're going to get into is a huge surprise because I had no idea that this woman was making a new game. This is Kimuri. It is from Ikumi Nakamura. She was the developer of The Evil Within 1 and 2. Like the sole developer. She was the creative director of the Evil Within 1 and 2, and most recently Ghostwire Tokyo, which all three of those games I love. I love her passion. I love her vision. I love her personality. She's quirky. She's cool. She's cute. And anything this woman wants to make in the future from here on out, I'm going to buy it. So, Kimuri, I'm going to buy that game, girl. You've got my dollar anytime you bring a new game to the table. And I did some research, and I'm glad you've founded your own independent studio with Unseen. And it sucks that you went through so much mental, turmoil. You were going through Tango and just trying to keep the soul and spirit alive of your games. How any artist would. So, Kimuri, you got me going, girl. The next thing we're going to be looking at is obviously the Tomb Raider remakes. I love, Uncharted. I played Tomb Raider back on the PS1 when I was a kid, so you got me there. I'm gonna play it. That's an easy thing. This game right here, this next one, I don't need to see any more of this fucking game. I just need to play it, and that is Phantom Blade Zero. Stunt choreography, fight choreography being done by Donnie Yen stunt team. So I mean, what more do I fucking need? A Souls like in level design, but Ninja Gaiden, like kung fu flicks and action combat design. Sounds like a perfect game to me. Stop showing me shit. I just need to play it. I'm done. The next game that we got over here, it's not necessarily new, but I think it's having a certain console release, but that is No Rest for the Wicked. These are from the developers of the game of the Ori franchise. Those two games I literally just recently beat this year for the first time on my Switch 2. Don't have gameplay to post, but just know that I loved it. So I'm definitely going to be getting into No Rest for the Wicked whenever I get the chance to on the PS5 Pro. Um, the next one, Capcom is on a fucking roll, let me tell you. Just showing off more Onimusha. That's another thing where it's like Phantom Blade Zero. I don't need to see anything else. I just need the game to release and I need to play it. So yeah, next thing we got is Silent Hill Townfall. Silent Hill has essentially been on the trajectory of being resurrected and brought back into the mainstream in a big way, like Resident Evil has with the Silent Hill 2 remake. You got Silent Hill F, which was a totally different vision from Silent Hill, but still fit the spirit, and it was just great. And now we're getting a first person, maybe like an Outlast style where you're not really fighting, but you gotta hide more type of Silent Hill. Just from the two trailers we've got following this character, I don't know his name yet, but the story seems very much the story seems very much Silent Hill and very good, so I can't wait for that. Give me a second because someone's calling my name. Sorry about that, but yeah, that was Silent Hill Townfall. I'm excited as hell for that. I love horror, survival horror. You got me coming. And now the next thing, this is something. This is another franchise that childhood PlayStation 1 played a lot of. Kind of have a hiatus, and I'm going to be coming back around and playing the predecessor before this comes out. Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thief. Love playing Ace Combat 3 on the PS1 and love playing Ace Combat 6 on the 360. Haven't played 7 yet, but I will in due time before this comes out. And if I can't do it before it comes out, then I'll do it after it comes out and then get into Ace Combat 8. And another franchise coming after that. This damn state of play, this little section right here, Silent Hill, Ace Combat 8, Stuntman, and then the next two games, the next three games actually I'm gonna get into. They had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They had like a 6-game run where they were just hitting me with shit with things that I love. Because that's where Ace Combat 8, we get Stuntman Hollywood. Now, a lot of people were like, what the fuck is this game? Because the last Stuntman game that came out was on the 360, and I think before that was on the PS2. So, yeah, this has been an established franchise where you're essentially playing a stuntman. It's not a racing game, but you're the stuntman doing these scenes for these movies. And it's like a huge spectacle type of thing. Like it's a really dope ass game. Pretty hard, really niche, but it's awesome. And I'm so glad they're bringing it back. And it looks like they're actually diving into different IP this time since it's taking place in Hollywood. And now the next game, my most anticipated game out of the state of play at least, is Ill. I've got videos of it. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it here. You guys know I've been following this game for fucking ever, since its conception, since it's conceived. So yeah, I've been following this for a while and I can't wait to play it. And boom, right after that, this was something I forgot to mention in the video, but Control Resonant. I absolutely love Remedy's games, and I might have to have like a video just on like kind of defending Quantum Break and the Xbox One. I may have to do a video on that because I see the vision, and they were really the only ones to try to implement Phil Spencer's and Xbox's vision during that time in 2013 and 14. So I may have to do a separate video on that. But going back to Control, that is one of my favorite worlds in any media. I love the lore. I love what Remedy and Sam Lake and them have created with Control. And Resonant seems to just be going in a completely different direction when it comes to the combat. And I love that. So yeah, Control Resonant, You got my money when that comes out. Like this game and like 3 or 4 other games are all coming out in September. So this is going to be a very, very rough year. Let me just tell you that right now. And next up, we get something that I was not expecting at all, but something I am very much welcome to playing, and that is Until Dawn 2. Not from the same developers, but it's got the spirit. It's got an actor returning, playing a pretty good center role. So yeah, and look, I just love art. I love all types of games. I know there's a whole conundrum, and there's just these debates online talking about, am I playing a game or am I watching a movie? And my whole view of it is, if you go into a game knowing what you're getting yourself into, knowing the genre of it, if I would never introduce somebody to Until Dawn and have them expecting something like Silent Hill or Resident Evil. They're going to be very disappointed, and they may not even make it through like the first hour or two of the game. But if you know what you're getting into, it's dope. And, Until Dawn, that's a great game to just have your friends over, smoking, drinking, 9 times out of 10. A few of you are going to want different characters' outcomes to be different. So you're going to be bitch moaning and complaining and arguing when decisions come up. And that's the point of the game. That's the point of it. It's funny. It's an interactive movie. I love that shit. I love the Quarry. Haven't tried Directive 8020 yet. Heard some mixed things about that. But Until Dawn 2, I'm fucking in for it. And then the last thing from the state of play that pretty much caps it off that I'm looking forward to is God of War Lao Fei. Was not looking forward to a Faye spinoff game and a Atreus spinoff game. When I hear God of War, I want Kratos. But when you show me the gameplay you did in that 20 minutes, god damn it, you sell me. And I want it now. It gave me some Heavenly Sword vibes. And yeah, I want it. God of War Lao Fei. Setting up combat systems that the God of War trilogy remake can use, and I'm all for it. And now we're going to jump boom, right into the Summer Games Fest. Fucking starting off strong with goddamn Resident Evil Veronica. And I've already said this in a short or something. That game is a Resident Evil that I have not played. I didn't play the original Veronica, Code Veronica 1 or 2. So if they're going to remake both of those, I may or may not go back and play those, but I know for a fact for this first one right now, I'm not going to. I'm just going to play the remake when it comes out. Next, going into that, we got a couple of Cuphead game announcements. I haven't played Cuphead yet, but love hand animation in general, and my heart is getting back into platforming, shooting like any type of side-scrolling type of game. My heart is getting back into it, so I'll be there for the like Sega pixelated art Cuphead Adventures game coming out, and I'll be there when Cuphead 2 comes out. And Lord knows how long, because that shit takes a long time. The next game we got coming out, another survival horror game that I can't wait for, and that is Alien Isolation 2. And goddamn, I did not realize that the first one came out back in 2014. I was still a junior in high school. Holy shit. 12 years, y'all. I really didn't realize it had been that long. And yeah, I'm still hype. I'm ready for it. Just give it to me. Maybe show me one more trailer. I'm the type of dude that if your first teaser trailer is good enough, I don't need more. I love going into something knowing as little as possible when it comes to a movie, and especially games too, I guess, seeing as little as possible. I say this all the time about Elden Ring. I think the biggest problem I have with that game is the fact that I watched most of it get played by a streamer before I played it myself. And a lot of those iconic moments of spectacle that you see for the first time, it was just lost on me because I had already seen it through other eyes. So yeah, I don't need to see anything else for a lot of these games. I'm pretty much in. The next one didn't have his name written down, but homie that developed what was that thing, like something called Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, he's coming in with Gen Atlas, which pretty much looks like a third-person shooter, sci-fi mech type of game mixed with some of the scale of Shadow of the Colossus had. Can't wait for that. Next up is Blood Message, which is coming from a Chinese developer. Feels like a very cinematic Uncharted story type of game. And next, this isn't a game. Stranger Than Heaven was next in the showcase, but I'm not necessarily looking forward to that. But the tie-in with Snoop Dogg and him teasing his company Death Row Games. If that is any indication that we can get a Def Jam, like a modern day Def Jam, I am all in. Like if Snoop Dogg has to be the one to fucking give it to us because he's been wanting it and he said, fuck it, none of you companies are going to do it. I'm going to do it. And it may not just be called, what if it's just called Death Row Jam or some shit? Whatever. A spiritual successor or a straight up Def Jam game, if Snoop Dogg is the one to give it to us, I'm there for it. I'm here for you, bro. The next thing, completely new, totally new reveal, a game called Hex. You got this cube thing. It's like a first person shooter, open world. I don't know if it's like an MMO type deal. I was paying attention and I wasn't at the same time to Jeff in his word, so sorry. I'm just kind of shooting off the top and going in before dinner's ready. But the next thing, not a new reveal, but an open beta is now live for it. It is Mortal Shell 2. Mortal Shell 1 was a pretty niche game. I liked it for what it was, but this looks like they're just taking that torch, putting gasoline on it, and fucking charging with that shit. So yeah, Mortal Shell 2, I can't wait to play that. Next thing going in, something from Platinum Games. I knew this game was being made. I didn't know how far into development or what it was, but TMNT Last Ronin. If you're a TMNT fan, then you know that this is a story of pretty much Raphael, I believe, is the turtle that is the last one alive. He's going on a revenge tale, pretty much avenging his brothers and his father's Splinter. So, yeah, on Platinum Games, Ninja Gaiden 4. If we're gonna get that, but with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin, count me in. I'm down. Next game I'm looking forward to from Summer Games Fest is a game called Crossfire. These are a couple of devs that split from Naughty Dog and Infinity Ward, and they're teaming up to do this. I don't know if it's single player or co-op. I have to look more into this. They made it sound like single player, but the gameplay looked like it could be co-op. But it kind of feels like a very story-driven, narrative-driven like Ghost Recon. And so I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, I love story. The gameplay looked pretty cool. The story looks great. I'm in for it. And the next thing, man, racing is coming back, I feel like. And that is Star Wars Galactic Racer. Devs from the Burnout franchise, and I think also Need for Speed from back in the day, if I'm assuming correctly. Burnout meets Star Wars pod racing. You got me. I'm in. There's nothing else to say. A long time fighting game franchise is making a huge return with Virtua Fighter 6 Crossroads, completely expounding on what that game and franchise is, with the story mode that they're doing. Just the different modes in general, the versus system, it looks fucking crazy. The developer breakdown afterwards was pretty cool, and it gets me even more hype. So yeah, it is a huge couple of years for fighting games. Fighting games are in, I feel like, prime time right now, and I'm all here for it. These two things I kind of split in together. I can't wait for Lords of the Fallen 2. I can and I can't wait for it. Lords of the Fallen 1 had such a tumultuous release, and it got patched up over time, but man, that game was just it was something to play through. That's what I'll say. It was something. But I also wanted to put down this witch game called 1666. I'm going to go watch Fighting Cowboys gameplay of it here in a little bit, but apparently it's a developer that broke off from Ubisoft that had been wanting to do this game for a while. He was an Assassin's Creed developer. He split off, made his own development studio. Ubisoft did some sneaky shit, bought out his own studio and tried to take his game. He had, I don't know the timeline, but let's just over exaggerate it and say years of legal battles to get the studio in that game back. And now this is it. The trailer was kind of spliced up. It wasn't enough to really sell me on the idea, so I want to go watch gameplay to see if maybe it'll sell me there. The next thing, Finally, for a lot of people, including myself, Monster Hunter Wilds Ascendance. This is essentially the Iceborne expansion for Monster Hunter Wilds. This is great for me because I haven't even played Monster Hunter Wilds yet. Not because I haven't wanted to, but I hadn't even beaten World or Rise yet. So I was pretty much clearing out my back catalog still. And, when I get my PS5 Pro out of layaway here in a month or so, this will be one of the games I play before Ascendance comes out. It comes out in 2027, so I might actually continue to push Wilds back until closer until Ascendance drops. But they're expounding on a lot of the, I'll say, weapon arts in the game. New monsters coming in that look really cool. Kushala Dora's back, and y'all, I am an OG Monster Hunter player. I played Monster Hunter Freedom, Freedom 2, and Freedom United on the PSP. Me, my two brothers, and our friend in the neighborhood, when all four of us get our PSPs on the home Wi-Fi, and we would play 4-player monster hunts all fucking day in the crib. It was amazing. So, I come from that time, and seeing the Elder Dragon, was it Shin Lao? Oh my god, that's like, you could have shown me like the Akin tour, as well, and I would have lost my shit nearly as much. But seeing Shin Lao, I remember trying to replicate like so many like music vids of the Akintot boys and certain content creators slaying this fucking thing to like Disturbed and Korn back in the day. Oh my god, the memories. So yeah, I can't wait for that expansion, and I can't wait to dive into Wilds in general. So the next game is a kind of, I'm gonna call it a Wukong like, with the stances it was showing. It's another Chinese game called Swords of Legends. It looks pretty cool. The boss they were showing off was tight. It was kind of like it was kind of like a magic carpet with a mask. So that was pretty cool. But it was just, I need them to work a little bit more on the hit stops and like the hit impacts. Like the cool moves and things are happening on screen, but there's no weight. It's not selling me on the action. So yeah, like, I'm serious. Like, I'm sorry to compare, but Phantom Blade Zero looks like it's really gonna push the mark and evolve combat in video games. So when I see that, and I've seen a lot of gameplay of that, and you can just feel it by watching it, when you watch something like Swords of Legends that looks like it may be still early in development, and they don't have that hit stop and really those things up on par yet, then, they got time. So I put it on here because it piqued my interest, but I want to see them work out those kinks. The next damn thing, oh boy, booty, boobs, action, story, Stellar Blade, Blood Rain. This seems like it's taking a lot of like Ghost in the Shell inspiration, even more so than the first one, especially with the character design. But yeah, I can't wait to see more on this. This is going into like more melee, specifically boxing, brawler. Just seeing Eevee like bobbing and weaving that one enemy like 4 or 5 times, that's a motherfucking day one. So yeah, Stellar Blade, Blood Rain, I'm here all day for that shit. That looks sick. The next two things we got are what's ending off the Summer Games Fest, and that's Street Fighter 6 Year 4, getting 3 completely new characters. Yasmin, at first, before I saw her weapon, I kind of thought she was maybe going to be like a Makoto stand-in, which she could still very much well be. But the characters, like Arjun, he's completely new, and he looks weird. He looks like he was like exhaling smoke, so maybe he's like what's those guys, like those guys in freak shows that stick swords down their throat and they breathe fire and stuff. He could have like a really cool move set, and if that's like what they're gonna lean into, like this dude who was in a freak show but then was inspired to be a fighter, so he's using his quirks to be a part of his moveset. I think Arjun could be a really cool character. And then I'm surprised it took them this long to get this character in the game, but Bosch is finally going to be a fighter that we can actually play as in Street Fighter 6. I would have expected him to come in with like Aki in season 2, but we're finally getting him, and I think that's really sweet. And to go in just to the last reveal along with this guest character, Tifa, Tekken fans are shitting blood because they're so upset about this. But Final Fantasy VII Revelations, I'm gonna break some hearts. I the only Final Fantasy game I've ever played is 15 and 16. So before Revelations drops, probably after because my back catalog is so fucking insane, I'm gonna be playing Final Fantasy VII Intergrade and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then boom, going into Revelations. So that's cutting off the Summer Games Fest. The next thing we're getting into is the Xbox Direct. And I'm gonna save the best one for last. We're gonna skip what they started off with, but we're gonna start off with Fable. I'm looking forward to Fable because I love Fable 2 and I did enjoy Fable 3, but we did have a little Fable Direct last year, so I can't say this too much, but I'm just so sick of these comedic style cinematic trailers and showing us 3 to 5 second barely clips of the combat and gameplay. I'm still barely sold on it. Some of the stuff looks cool, some of the shit looks weighty and it looks like it's really nice, but overall, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I need more. I gotta see more combat. From what they were saying, like in the direct last year about certain things like happening in the world and affecting the economy, and you can really be a douchebag like you were back in the day. I'm excited for all that. I'm just, is this game gonna be optimized? You don't just show comedic, cinematic stuff and no gameplay unless the gameplay is not optimized and smoothed over yet. So that gets me worried. They say they delay it to avoid GTA 6. I think they're delaying it because the combat still may be fucking janky. And I don't doubt that. Okay? So I don't want to come off sounding like a Fable hater. I'm just saying I'm excited for it, but I'm tired of seeing these style of trailers and I just want to see gameplay from here on out. Going into something else that I'm really excited for, and my heart is opening up to Metroidvania style games, Castlevania, The Curse of Belmont. The art style and the artistic direction of this game is fucking beautiful and magnificent. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to go back and play the older Castlevania games. I did play the Castlevania games on 360, the 3D ones. I thought they were cool. I don't know how OGs feel about them, but I thought they were cool. So, yeah, just art style alone, that's going to get me to play the game. This is going into OG Man, Legacy, Halo, Campaign Evolved. Look, us Halo fans have been burned and burned and burned and burned by 343 Studios for the past 10 fucking years. Okay? That's just what it is. Like, they keep getting chance after chance after chance from Microsoft. I've been sad after Halo 5, they should have handed this off to another studio, or at the very least, if you want 343 to work on the mainline games, have other studios giving us Halo games in the universe that don't focus on Chief. And just so it can whet our palate and give us something to hold us over, because 9 times out of 10, when 343 comes through anyway, their product's going to be mid. And if we could have like id Software give us a really dope game, like that's really Doom centric and follows maybe a Spartan that's not Chief, and it's just, completely different, but still in the realm of Halo. And like, if we could get that and like say like, yeah, Halo 7 may have sucked balls, but that fucking Halo game we got from id was really tight. That would be great instead of just having to sit here with shit the entire time. But Halo Campaign Evolved, the 3 new missions that are acting as a prequel following him and Sergeant Johnson. I'm really excited. Space combat's coming back. I haven't had that since Reach. Love that. It looks really good. Graphically, it looks great. It's just, I hope I will always go back to the Dead Space remake because I think that's perfect. Do nothing but add to it. Don't fuck with the story. Don't change things. Just add, expand, bring mechanics from the future games like Dead Space 2 and bring them in. Perfect. Campaign Evolved, what I mainly wanted them to do was take things that Bungie wasn't able to do, old designs, maybe missions that they had to scrap and bring them in. Halo 2, if they remake that, they can do that with. But this, I don't think they're going to. I hope the Flood is awesome and terrifying, and I can't wait to see what Campaign Evolved, I am excited for. So it's just, I know there's just a lot of controversy with 343 changing into Halo Studios. It's pretty much the same studio. People think, even if the leadership has changed, that rot and corruption is still there. I like to be on the more faithful side because, the people that are in charge saved Master Chief Collection and saved Halo Infinite at the end of the day. So the only thing we can do is hope and pray, right? And that's what I'm going to do. The next thing is something I'm kind of excited for, but I'm really just confused of how this franchise started and where it ended. And that's Renaissance: A Plague Tale. This franchise started as a weird history, turning, like taking the Black Plague with the rats and stuff during that time and telling a story within that was a bit fantastical and different. And then that going into A Plague Tale Requiem, which is following the same characters, but completely going off the rails in regards to, I think, history, and like if I'm remembering correctly. And then we've got Renaissance: A Plague Tale, which is, it feels like it's just going even deeper down the rabbit hole of whatever. I think the games are awesome, but it's just so interesting where this franchise has ended up now. So I can't wait for that. The next one, Metro 2039. I'm a Metro fan. I always forget that there is actually a trilogy: 2033, Last Light, and then Exodus. I always forget about Exodus. Not that it's a bad game, I just always forget about it. So Metro 2039, the fact that they have the author of the books actually working on this game now, that's going to be really fucking good. I can't wait for this, man. Especially knowing that they're a Ukrainian-based studio, what they've had to go through during the Ukrainian war. I can't wait to see their perspective and their story told through this game. It's going to be dark, and I can't wait to play it. This next one I was not expecting because the sequel was so displeasing for most people, including myself. I was not expecting this game to have a third one. And Senua, essentially Hellblade 3 Senua. And this is going to be top 5 most anticipated for next year because I thoroughly enjoyed and really loved the experience that Hellblade 1 Senua's Sacrifice provides. And, when Hellblade 2 was announced, I was over the moon about it and couldn't wait. And then you played it, and it's just this beautiful story-driven tech demo. And somehow the combat devolves from the first one, and you'd rather play the first one again instead of going through the second one. Like you go through the second one once for the story, but when it comes to combat and wanting to, and even with the environmental puzzles, I think the environmental puzzles that they had in the first game were even better than in the second game. So just seeing this trailer of Hellblade 3, seeing her dual wielding weapons, seeing her doing magic and melee combat combos, that trailer told me, hey, we learned from Hellblade 2, we learned from our mistakes, and we're going to give you a really action-based Hellblade game. And if they can pull that off, it's optimized. It looks just as good as like 2, even better, but it's fucking like it's an action game now, and the combat is actually, it has depth and it feels good. I think this franchise can really have a turnaround, and that's, I was hesitant to put it on just because of the fact that it's not that I wasn't looking forward to what that development team could do after Hellblade 2. I just didn't know what was going to happen to the team. I was afraid that they were going to get shut down in this day and age after the way Hellblade 2 performed. So after that, we got some Doom: The Dark Ages Revelations. Oh, baby. Doom: The Dark Ages. Most people, it's not a bad game, but it's just their least favorite out of the 3 in the modern Doom era trilogy. But this DLC looks fucking sick. So I never beat Dark Ages. I got I think a few missions through it, and just, life and other games kind of got in the way. So Doom: The Dark Ages Revelations, gonna have to beat the game, and I will, and then I'll jump into that DLC when that comes out. Looks fucking dope. Looks like they're really expanding on the combat and the parry system with the spear and stuff. They're bringing back the meat hook mechanic, but they're attaching it to the spear now. Sick. Can't wait for that. And an OG, an oldie but a goodie, Crazy Taxi World Tour. Looks like they're going like a taxi versus Uber driver type of game like story here. And yeah, Crazy Taxi's an oldie but a goodie. I can't wait for it. This next one is a new game reveal. It's called Magicians: The Devil's Deal. Kind of feels like BioShock, but with magician powers. Like you get a wand and you've got like the other hand that you can do spells and shit with. It looks trippy and fucking cool as hell, and I can't wait to play it. It looks cool. That just makes me yearn for Ken Levine's next game, Judas, the actual creator of BioShock. I just can't wait for Judas to come out. So this looks pretty cool. And looks like it can hold me over. The next game too kind of gives me BioShock vibes, and we've seen this before. Valor Mortis. This is the first person Napoleon, like French Revolution style Souls-like game. And yeah, I don't need to see any more of this game. This is just another take where I'm just ready for it to release because I've seen enough of it. If I'm afraid if I see any more, it's going to ruin it. Last but not least, Spyro 4, A Realm Beyond. I'm ready. I love Crash Bandicoot. I love Spyro. All we really need now is a Banjo game, whether it's a third one or fourth. I don't know if there's a trilogy, but you know, whether it's a new installment for Banjo or a remake of the first one. That's really all we need now. We got Crash Bandicoot 4. We're getting Spyro 4. Give us a Banjo game, man. I was really looking. I'm kind of disappointed. I want a Fusion Frenzy 3, something that would be perfect for like the friend slop era that we're in for streamers. But the last game, man, that I'm really looking forward to is Gears of War E-Day. I've been talking for 37 minutes, so I'm gonna do a separate video reacting to the direct and breaking it down, and I'll share my personal story for why Gears of War E-Day out of these 43 games is my #1 most anticipated. And yeah, man, it's a personal story. We'll get into it in a separate video, but Gears of War E-Day is something I've been looking forward to for a while since they did the reveal trailer. And yeah, let's just say that this shit wanted to bring a tear to my eye. Not the 7-minute gameplay breakdown. That was just beautiful. Like, it truly looks like a next-gen Gears of War. It's kind of bittersweet because I feel like this is what Gears of War Reloaded should have been. It should have looked like this. It should have had these movement mechanics, because now it's going to feel really weird going from E-Day into Gears of War Reloaded for like just story purposes. But then the gameplay of Gears of War 1 is just, if you know, it's going to be so janky and weird going from E-Day to that. So, but yeah, man, that's going to be it for this video. That is all 43 games I am interested in and that we've been shown. You know, there's other games that have been shown here, but just not my style. What are you guys looking forward to? I cannot fucking wait. I'm about to go eat some dinner and hang out with the fam. You guys just be safe, keep pace, and have faith out there. The world is crazy and getting crazier. We don't know what the outcome is going to be tomorrow. So do what you can. Work out. Eat well. You know, stop any bad habit that you may have that is going to hold you back. Because we have, in my opinion, from my perspective, and for the next 2-3 years, we got 43 games that we got to keep ourselves alive and well for. So you guys be safe, keep pace, have faith, subscribe, like and comment, run up that motherfucking algorithm and hype this bitch up, and tell me what you guys are looking forward to. All right, y'all. Peace.